Hi, welcome to Cooking Fast and Eating Light, where I am cooking with recipes that have 5-ish ingredients or less, because really it's my mission to break down that barrier to healthy eating. Welcome, my name is Judy Matusky and I am a registered dietitian as well as a culinary nutritionist with Athens Nutrition. So welcome today, joining me in my kitchen, and for anybody that's gonna catch this on the replay. Well, today we are working with oats, and specifically overnight oats. So if you are not familiar with overnight oats, you will become so after the session today. It has been a long-term trend. I think overnight oats, they're out there all over the internet, all kinds of recipes, but they're really not new. I mean, overnight oats have been around a long time. They just really went by the name of muesli, which is sort of a Swiss-German dish, or overnight oat, which really had a lot of like nuts and dried fruits added to the oats, and then maybe even a little orange juice, and it was, set overnight. So they just kind of had a resurgence here, and I think that's great because we all need to be eating breakfast, and I feel like we're always looking for breakfasts that we can really grab and go. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the ingredients and how we're going to do it. It's going to come together very quickly. Obviously, we're using oats. The main thing here is you want the old-fashioned oats, that you don't want the steel-cut oats. That will not work. Steel-cut oats are just a little bit too crunchy, like they won't absorb the liquid overnight. You really need to cook those. So we're using old-fashioned oats. If you need the gluten-free version, that's a perfect swap out. We are gonna be adding some chia seeds for some great additional fiber and some protein. We're adding different types of milks, and we'll talk a little bit about that as we put it together. And we're also gonna add some yogurt. All right, so let's go ahead and start making this. All right, and it's really gonna be, we're going with the fall season and the fall flavors. So I'm using apples and cinnamon and some maple walnuts that we're gonna top it with. You could certainly use pumpkin, would be fantastic in this, with little pumpkin pie seasonings. So there's a lot of options, and we'll talk a little bit about more of those as we go through this. All right, so we're making a base. So we're gonna start with an overnight oat base, and then from the base, you can create any flavor toppings that you want. So we're gonna start, this is gonna serve 2. I think when the recipe goes up, I think I put it up for serving 4, but we're gonna just, we're gonna half it for the demonstration today. So it's 1 cup of rolled oats. This is just so easy. The ratios are just easy to remember too. So we've got a cup of rolled oats, and now we're gonna do a cup of milk, and here's where your options are. If you wanna go non-dairy, then my suggestion is to use a soy milk. Lots of reasons why. One of the main reasons is it's close to the equivalent of protein to regular dairy's milk. And when it comes to breakfast, that is one meal that we really want to make sure we're getting enough protein, and many of us don't. So you could use an almond milk, and I actually tend to really love this Khalifa Farms brand, but this is 7 grams of protein per cup. This is only 1 gram of protein per cup. Even better is cow's milk. So you could use a non-fat cow's milk. This is 9 grams of protein per cup. There's a big difference. So these are your 2 options. If you're going with dairy, I would do non-fat. We don't need the fat from the milk here. We're gonna pick up a healthy plant fat from another source. If you do wanna go strictly plant-based, I would definitely use the soy here, particularly because we're trying to build that protein out for this breakfast. All right, so I am gonna use the soy. So it's 1 cup of oats to 1 cup of liquid. Now the soy milk is a little bit thick. So I found that when I did this recipe, and I've done it many times, it does get a little bit thick, and I'll show you that because I made it last night, and so I'll show you the one that I made. So you might want to add even a cup and a half of liquid. You can't really go wrong. It just depends on how thick or how loose you sort of want the oatmeal to be overnight. All right, so we added that 1 cup. Now we're going to grab. Let me grab the yogurt. I've got to put that out of the fridge. So I'm going to use a Greek yogurt, and again, just for the main reason is because we do want the protein in here. So I'm going to use just a non-fat Greek yogurt. You can use any brand that you like. It doesn't really matter here. They're all really similar. We're going plain. We don't need the sweetener from the yogurt at this point because we are going to add a little maple syrup, and that's going to be our sweetener. So there's about a half a cup of yogurt that we're going to add. to this. So let's go ahead and add that. And I have this set so you guys can see. All right. And then the final two ingredients are really, it's 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. So 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, that's our sweetener. Now here you have options. You could use another sweetener, it's up to you. I just love the flavor of maple syrup and I just think it tastes so good. So I use it a lot. You could, if you really are trying to keep the sugar really low, if you're really monitoring blood sugar, you could use your favorite sweetener. Maybe it's stevia or something else, but we're gonna use maple syrup for this. And then we are gonna add the chia seeds. And I know we hear a lot about chia seeds. I've talked about them before. We did a chia seed pudding. There's a lot of reasons why. You know, again, chia seeds are an amazing source of fiber. Incredible. Almost 30% of your day's worth of fiber just in like 2 tablespoons. So we're gonna add 2 tablespoons to this. And the other thing about chia seeds, which I think a lot of people don't realize, is that chia seeds is one of those seeds that's actually higher in calcium. So it's a really good source of calcium as well. So keep that in mind. All right. So we have, I'm sorry, the lighting just kind of switched as I just put that down. All right, so we have our oatmeal, we have the yogurt, we have the maple syrup, we have the milk. So all we're gonna do now is just stir this around. I mean, so it's really super easy. So as I'm mixing it, you can kind of maybe see that, all right, and it's, you know, again, stirring it around. You can put a little bit more liquid in here if you want that, that's fine. And then once it's stirred, now this is your base, right? So you can do a couple of things. This could go right into the refrigerator, cover it, and then the next morning, you know, take out as much as you want. This is enough that would really serve 2 people. Or you can go ahead and get things set up the night before, which is what I prefer to do. So we're gonna add the, you know, fill up, take half of this, and we're gonna put it in, you know, just these mason jars with lids. So, you know, filling this up, and then you have a grab and go for the morning. So let's just say we got that all filled up, and then you're gonna use your lid, and this is gonna go in the fridge, and you're ready to grab it and take it in the morning. This by itself is delicious. You don't even really have to top it with anything if you don't want to. But let's just talk a little bit about the toppings that we're gonna use today. And I threw in a little extra bonus recipe here. So, all right, so we're gonna just take an apple. It's apple season right now, as we know. So let me just slice down this apple. And then on the top of the oatmeal, and I'm not gonna take the skin off the apple because I just don't want to, because we want the skin. The skin adds fiber, the skin adds, you know, texture. There's nutrients in the skin. All right, so let's just take the apples, and this was the overnight oats that I did last night. So these overnight oats have already, they've already gotten a little bit more, they've gotten thicker, they absorb the liquid into the oats. So let's top them with a nice amount of fresh apple. And then to make it just super easy, we're gonna just sprinkle a little bit of pumpkin pie spice on top, a little seasoning. All right. Then what I wanna show you is we are going to make, let me move my oats. We're gonna make some toasted walnuts, all right? So I have a little pan over here that I have heated up, and I'm just adding some walnut halves to the pan, and we're gonna toast these up just a little bit, get them going. They'll only take you really like maybe a few seconds or a minute or so on either side. So let's get those going. And I'm gonna actually kind of pretend that they've already been toasted. So you throw them in, because just for time's sake, we'll just try to move this along for you. Now, once they're toasted and and the pan is warm, you're gonna take just a little bit of maple syrup, and we're just gonna drizzle it right over the walnuts, all right? Just a little drizzle. And then you're gonna keep them in this pan for, I don't know, maybe like a minute, because you want it to be hot. You want your pan to be nice and hot. You want your walnuts to be toasted a little bit. And again, like I said, that might take a minute or two to toast them up. Then you're pouring in the maple syrup, and the maple syrup is just going to glaze these walnuts really nicely. And you think they're going to be sticky, and they're really not. The glaze on them, once they sort of cool off, the glaze just sort of dries a little bit around the walnuts, and they're fantastic to snack on or to add to, you know, even like a snack mix of some sort. But they're fantastic for these overnight oats. So then I would top them. I would top the oats with just a few of those walnuts. All right. And then here you have it. So here's your apple pie. Again, it's funny, the lighting, I'm just gonna say it because it's raining here, and the lighting is off because there's no sun coming in the window behind me, and I can tell as I'm moving, the light's going in and out. So I know you're having a hard time probably seeing this. I'll have to work on that. But anyway, so here's the overnight oats. We're gonna put the lid on it, right? And this is gonna go pop, you're gonna pop this in your fridge and you have it for the next day. And the great part about the overnight oats is you can make them in bulk. Like you can double that recipe, triple that recipe, and make as many of these as you want, line them up in your refrigerator and pull them out every morning. I mean, they're gonna last absolutely all week in the refrigerator. What I typically do is, what I would do though, if you're gonna keep them in the fridge, I would put the apples on top, but I don't think I would put the nuts on it, because we want the nuts to be a little crunchy. I would wait and add the nuts like a little, like just before you're ready to leave in the morning, maybe just throw them on just so that they're not sitting on top overnight, because they'll soften up. All right, so these walnuts are doing what they're supposed to be doing right now. So they're kind of boiling over a little bit here, and that's what you want them, because you want to sort of boil off whatever moisture there is, the little bit of water that might be in the maple syrup. So you do want this to kind of just simmer a little bit, and it gets a little bubbly, and that'll just pull out the water, and then as the walnuts sit, they will just get glazed by the maple syrup. So it's super easy. All right, the one thing I just want to mention real quick nutritionally about this, because when it comes to breakfast, your overnight oats are a great combination of macronutrients. And I get this question a lot when it comes to breakfast, because the one thing that we're trying to do is we want to fuel ourselves for the morning, and we want to try to hopefully get through the morning until lunch. And it's pretty hard if you're not pulling together the right macronutrient combination. So you want that high fiber carbohydrate, which is really from our oats and from our chia seeds and from the apples, right? And then we also want to balance that with enough protein. And this has about 18 grams of protein in it, made the way the recipe, using Greek yogurt or using soy milk or regular cow's milk, which is great. That's a really great number to be at for breakfast. And then we're also adding some healthy fat, because we need that for satiety and balance, and it helps us sort of to get through the morning, so we're not really craving donuts by at 10 a.m. So that fat from the walnuts, the fat from the chia seeds, the healthy plant fats are really what's going to balance this out. So that's what I love this because it's portable. I love this because it's fast. I love it because you can make it ahead and you can keep it in your refrigerator. But what's really great about it is that really fantastic balance of nutrients. All right, so you've got it all in this one jar. So anyway, try these. I think you're gonna love them. Play around with flavors. This is a perfect opportunity to use frozen fruit. So make the base and then come up with your flavor combinations. I did pina colada, which was just a combination of, I did pineapple and some coconut, and maybe a little bit of, I think I put pistachios on top. I did a blueberry cobbler, which was just some frozen blueberries, and I topped it with some pecans. You can do the pumpkin pie, which would just be, you would just add some pumpkin puree into the oats while you're making the base. And then you're gonna top it with either pumpkin seeds maybe, and a little pumpkin pie spice, maybe a little bit of dried raisin, but lots of combinations. So really it's endless. I mean, you can come up with really amazing flavor combinations, and they're super, super easy. All right, I hope you enjoyed this quick little demo. I will not be around next week. I'm on vacation, but I'll be back on October the 7th, and we will continue with these 5 ingredient or less recipes. So enjoy the rest of your day. Stay healthy. Check out athensnutrition.com as always. We've got lots of great stuff that's always being posted. We're going to have a brand new website that we're launching in early October. Lots of new things, so please check it out. Drop us your email, and that way you get on our mailing list, and we can let you know when anything new is coming out. And you can be on our weekly recipe roundup, so that you'll be getting recipes each week with new ideas of what to make. All right, enjoy your day. Stay well.